7:12 here at KPEL. It's Nathan and Bernie in the morning. Your friendly voice this morning. We've got Brooks David joining us. Begin the day with a friendly voice. Don't look at me like that, Bernie.
I was agreeing with you. I was just smiling.
Oh, that didn't look like a smile.
Okay, here's one.
There
it's the
you
big
go.
Cheese smile. You ready?
There you
big
go.
Cheese. Like I just won the lottery.
Ooh, I wish.
Oh, you know what? I keep telling Tara, one of these days we're going to win the Powerball, and we're going to send Colson to private school. We're going to pay off the mortgage on the house, et cetera, move into a bigger, better house with more storage. She says, you fool, we actually got to play the Powerball in order to win.
That's right.
And you have to have the Powerball and 5 other numbers, just to point that out.
This is true.
I'm just saying.
But, maybe we could be one of those, every now and then they got those $1 million winners.
We were excited. I mean, things like, it got crazy at our house. We won like $52. I thought my husband was pulling my leg. I'm like, $52? I was like, that is funny. That's way funny. Oh, you almost breaking the computer was even more funny. But $52?
Don't spend that all in one place, Bernie.
Dude.
Don't spend it all in one place. Brooks David joining us from Louisiana State Police, Troop I. Good morning, Brooks. How are you?
I'm fine. How are y'all?
Doing just fine. A little bit chilly. Are you working the streets or anything? You cold, Brooks?
Nice and warm.
Let's talk about this cold weather for just a second here, because as people, we tend to react almost with a knee-jerk response sometimes. Schools, they're closed in many areas today, and perhaps they could have remained open today. That's not for us to decide. Ultimately, school system leaders made that decision because they kept in mind what they thought was best for the safety of the children in their system. But we got a number of people who are reacting, well, why did you close schools today? Why did you close schools today? As from a state police perspective, when we have these types of school closures and things of that nature, what is it that you are trying to do in order to ensure that everybody on those roads remains safe?
Well, as state police, our main focus is safety. So it has to be the focus of the superintendents of the different parishes also. They don't have a lot of time to make these decisions. A lot goes into those decisions. School bus drivers have to be notified. Parents have to be notified. Teachers have to be notified. As troopers and police officers, we're second-guessed all the time. People have that luxury of second-guessing our decisions, just like with the school systems. I'm not going to second-guess a superintendent's decision on the safety of my child. That comes number one. As long as they're putting the safety of my child first, it doesn't matter if they close the school 1 day or 2 days. He's making that decision on the best information that he or she has. And that's the same thing state police does in the state government. So as long as they're basing their decisions on the safety of the people, that's all that matters to me.
Well, let's talk about some of that decision-making, especially during winter weather like what we could have experienced last night. But take North Louisiana, for example, I-20 in particular. They've shut down that stretch of interstate for very good reason. You take a look at the DOTD cameras, and it's just like it's like what the Basin Bridge was during the ice-apocalypse last year. But when you decide, and I know it's not just state police who makes the decision, DOTD works in concert with y'all sometimes. When the decision is made to shut down a roadway, I'm sure that there are a number of factors that go into making that decision before it's ultimately made.
That's correct. We get with DOTD. There's a lot of things that go into it. The last thing we want to do is shut down an interstate system, but when the safety of people come into play, it's an automatic decision. We don't want to see anybody lose their lives, especially just for ice on the roadway. We know it upsets a lot of people, but our main focus is that person's safety. So the minute we see that somebody's life is put in danger just for something as little as ice on a roadway, we're going to shut it down. Once DOTD inspects that road and they can't keep up with the aggregate that they put on the roadway, and it keeps freezing over, we're going to shut it down.
Absolutely. Now, For those of us who live in the city of Lafayette, I mean, we're well aware of one of the great resources out there, Lafayette911.org. It lets you know about traffic crashes and other mobilizations of police and law enforcement and fire resources across the city. Is there some type of equivalent that drivers on the interstate system have access to so that they know ahead of time, well, I know that this part of the interstate is shut down or there's a crash here or what have you? Anything like that?
There's a lot of things that are available to the public they might not be aware of. Nixle is one of them. State police is very up to date with that as soon as a road shuts down. The state police Facebook page. You can also go to www.511la.org. DOTD runs that. That'll show you up to the minute road closures. If you look on there now, it'll show you the Shreveport roadways, Alexandria roadways, and Monroe roadways that are closed. So that is one of the best ones. You can also download the mobile app. So you can have it on your phone, and it'll also talk to you. You can set a radius. That way you don't have to look at your phone when you're driving down the road. It'll let you know if there's any type of road closures, construction, crashes, anything like that. And you don't even have to look at your phone. It'll let you know.
Wow.
Yes.
That's really awesome. Yeah, I know that one of the things that we use 501 quite often over here when we're updating people on traffic situations. One of the great things that we use all the time is the ability to actually tap into the different traffic cameras set up along the interstate so you can see, well, where's the crash? Well, it looks like it's tied up over here, but where we can check down further along the interstate and actually see where the origin of the crash is. So again, that's 511la.org. Great resource for drivers to use when they're making travel plans. Coming up on 7:19, we're going to take our first break. You're listening to Ask the Trooper on Nathan and Bernie in the Morning. 7:22 here at KPEL. It's Nathan and Bernie in the morning. 232-1542 if you'd like to join Ask the Trooper with State Police Troop I spokesperson Brooks Davy. Let's talk pet peeves, driving pet peeves for just a second here. Because I made sure to make a note about this when I saw it the other day. I was driving on 167 heading toward Maurice. I was going over to get my haircut, okay? This was Saturday.
2 months ago.
This was Saturday over the weekend.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, 167, of course, is a divided highway.
Go ahead, buddy.
What are you doing over there, Brooks? I thought we were friends. I thought we were pals. I thought we were okay. 167, obviously a divided highway. Somebody crosses over from the other side, and can you do this? They, instead of turning into one of the travel lanes, they hurry up, scoot over into the shoulder, wait for me to pass, and then get into the travel lane. Or in other cases, they will pull over onto the shoulder, use it as a sort of turning lane, and then make their right turn.
No, I mean, you can't use the shoulder for anything unless you're broken down, really. The shoulder is there for a reason, and that's for emergency purposes only. That's it. We don't even want you pulling over the shoulder to use the phone. That's for a parking lot or something to that nature. That's for emergency personnel and broken down vehicles.
Really? So you can't even pull on the shoulder to talk on the phone?
Well, it's actually dangerous. I mean, if somebody loses control, has a blowout or something to that nature, and you get hit, that can be some life-threatening.
Mm-hmm.
I learn something new every single day.
Thank goodness, huh?
Let's talk about this case in New Iberia real quick. The gentleman who was arrested, he was hit, but then he left the scene of the accident. Right? Is that the general story there?
Yes,
storyline?
there was a fatality in New Iberia where there was a hit and run, yes.
So why was this person arrested?
Well, without going into detail in a particular case, because it's still an active investigation. However, in a hit and run crash, Louisiana law states if you're involved in a motor vehicle crash, you must stay at the scene. You must give the driver of the other vehicle your name, your insurance information, and your vehicle information. And if someone is injured, you must either render aid or call for aid. If you do not do that, you are in violation of revised statute 14100, which is the hit and run.
Really?
Statute. Yes.
Interesting. Stay put right there for just a second here. 7:25. We've got Todd Starnes next. 7:29 here at KPEL. It's Nathan and Bernie in the morning. 232-1542. If you'd like to join the conversation with us, one last short segment of Ask the Trooper with Brooks David from State Police, and really not much time to really get into anything more. But if you see something happening on the roadways that police need to know about, what should you do? 911, or is there something? If it's not an emergency, what should people do?
Well, if it's not an emergency, you can dial star LSP, and it'll definitely go to the nearest troop. If it's an emergency, you want to dial 911, and that way they can contact the local authorities, whether it's the fire department, whatever that you need, ambulance. If we're needed, they will contact us, or they will patch you through to us. If you're broken down, whatever, you need a trooper out there, you can dial star LSP, and they'll come to the nearest troop. Sometimes it'll throw you to another troop, but that troop will patch you through to us. So you don't want to, we like to assist anybody, but sometimes people over abuse star LSP for things like road closures and asking about, sometimes we get calls if roadways are open in Houston. We would like to assist you if we can. However, our phones are always busy and they're always ringing with emergencies. And if those desk sergeants get tied up, we can't get to those emergencies as fast as we need to get to.
Absolutely.
So we ask that they use the websites, www.lsp.org, 511la.org, and the mobile app. So if they would, we ask that they use those, and it'll cut a lot of time out for you also.
Yeah, I can imagine. All right, Brooks, thank you so much for coming in this morning. We'll see you again next week. Right now, 7:30, we've got news, weather, and traffic next.